3.
Hello, I'm Gwen Cavanaugh, and I'm in the Chockamaica Mall with a number of guests here. We're at the Christmas Winter Appeal Center, which is down near the east end of the Chockamaica Mall in Nelson. And we're here today to talk about donations of food and gifts used in new gifts for the Christmas program that is co-sponsored, I believe, by the Community Services Center and by the Salvation Army. I'd like to introduce the people who are here to talk with you today. And the first one is Pam Olson, who is the coordinator of the Christmas Winter Appeal. Glad to be here, Pam, to ask you a few questions. Lena Horsfall, who is the new coordinator of the Community Services Center in Nelson. Welcome, Lena.
Thank you.
And Captain Robert Ford, who's with the Salvation Army in Nelson, is, I understand it, Captain, fairly new in Nelson as well.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to Nelson as well as to the Christmas Winter Appeal. I'd like to start out with asking Pam Olson to please just give us an overview, briefly, if you can. I know it's a long story, but a brief overview of the Christmas Winter Appeal.
I think the people in town recognize this as the hamper program, and they've come in the last couple of years to recognize us as being able to give them gifts for their children just before Christmas, and we're continuing to do that. We figure that we're going to be able to service 600 families this year and supply a turkey dinner for them.
Very good. So now we have the Nelson area and a larger geographic area as well.
Yes.
What does that encompass?
We go as far south as Salmo. We go up the Slocan Valley as far as Nakusp. We go across to Caslow and up through Meadow Creek and Argenta. So we service that area.
So you have people who have volunteered in those areas to help out?
We have depots at Slocan Park, at the Caslow Legion, and at the Salmo Health Unit.
And is everything coordinated from Nelson, or
Yes.
do they coordinate any of the food hampers out in the other areas?
No, they take the hampers that we pack here into the depots and make them available to the people in those locations between 10 and 4, so that those people don't have to travel quite as far into the Nelson area to pick up their food hampers.
Right. Well, that's very good. Well, Lena, I'd like to just ask you a couple of questions then. I've got a number of questions for all of you, and I'm going to sort of switch back and forth. How long have you been as a coordinator of the Nelson Community Center?
Since early October.
I see. And where did you start
I
out?
moved here from Ottawa.
I see. So a long ways away.
That's right.
And stepped right into this important job. Good for you.
It's a challenge.
Well, have you done this type of work before for Christmas programs?
No, not really. I was involved with some community work in Ottawa, but it was more as a community member and on the board, but haven't been involved in a Salvation Army program.
It's a good way to get your feet wet.
Yes.
Christmas time.
That's right.
How long have the Nelson Community Services Center and the Salvation Army been co-sponsoring this Christmas program?
I've been trying to find that out myself, just looking through the files, and it seems like it goes back at least 8 years, and it might be even longer. So it was sort of from the very beginning that we have worked together with the Salvation Army. I know this past year we provided some space so Ingrid and Pam could work out of our office, and we could take messages and people could come in and talk to them. So we made that available. We've also used volunteers from time to time who are, the volunteers that work with us, who have heard about the Christmas program, and they've gotten involved as well. So we work as partners, I guess.
Oh, that's good. So the Nelson Community Services Center has really been a type of advertisement for this program at Christmas time?
Yes, we come across people who could use the program, so we are there to provide information so, they can sort of not receive from the program, but also give to the program. So again, you have people who could benefit from the program, and you have people who are interested and want to give some of their time or donate presents.
Very good. Very good. And Captain Ford, sorry, Lena Horsfall, I told you I would do this with names. Captain Ford, you've moved from Eastern Canada as well?
Just recently, yes. We came in from Toronto.
I see.
We had 3 years in Toronto working on Skid Row.
I see. So now you're in Nelson,
Now
out
we're
in
in
the West.
Nelson, enjoying every minute of it.
Is it your first time in the West?
No, it's not our first time in the West. We were stationed in Chilliwack as correctional officers, and then some years ago as family services and corrections.
Well, it's really nice to have you here.
It's good to be here.
Now, a few questions for you. I know you're brand new with the Nelson Christmas program, but I noticed that the name has been changed. I have actually done an interview for this for the last several years, and it used to be called the Nelson Community Christmas Program, and now it's the Christmas Winter Appeal. Why has that name changed? Could you tell me?
Yes, because the people out there are having Christmas every month, every day of every year as we go through. For instance, we spent $53,000 to the end of October in helping people in Christmas from the Bubble program, and that has to carry us.
I see. Now, what is the Bubble program? Are you talking about the kettles?
The kettles, yes.
I see. And are the kettles out on the streets now?
You have one now out on the street. The second one comes on stream at the end of the month.
I see. And who are they manned by?
Volunteers from service clubs and others that Pam coordinates for us and gathers from the community. And we're very thankful to all the folks out here in the community for their help, both as service and monies and goods that they supply.
Mm-hmm. Does this name reflect any increase in the numbers of people using the Salvation Army services for their welfare?
The name reflects that we can do a better service and meet the need better.
Okay.
And
so that it would go all through the year?
Yes, yes.
The return from the kettles must be pretty good in order to enable you to keep on going for the whole year.
I believe Pam and I have estimated for 1988 a need of $75,000. And that's a pretty big target.
Mm-hmm. It is very large.
When you're looking at $53,000 already spent, you know that we've covered 245 families to the end of October, as well as look after a soup line. Many people bring in soup, which we're very thankful for, but there's the additional cost of coffee, sugar, milk, bread. We're now getting some bread donated, which is helpful. Mm-hmm. Those kind of costs, and to help people out in this community and the area of Nelson.
Very good. Well, Pam, let's get back to why we're here in this storefront in the Chocomaica Mall. Was this donated for you?
Yes, the mall donates this space to us every year. Again, because we have a higher community profile here than we would have working out of the Salvation Army Hall. And the donations are easier to solicit from the mall.
Right.
We find that with our fundraising only through Kettles and our Red Shield in May, that the bulk of the fundraising has to come through the Christmas appeal. And that means that we have to make donating as easy as possible. People that come and shop at the mall, they see us here, they can drop things off. They can also come in and spend some time. It's quite common for children to come down and do their shopping and mom comes in and helps, or a couple comes down and shops and husband comes in and helps. We get a lot of extra benefits from being in the mall.
Very good. Very good. And you have the entire workshop as well as the display area set up here.
Yes.
I saw as I walked around and looked at it.
Yes, we have a work area for assessing toys and gifts that come in to make sure that they're in the best possible shape so that they have play value left to them.
Okay, so supposing I were to donate something that is a used toy, and take me through the steps.
Take you through the steps. Well, first of all, we wouldn't acknowledge it as a used toy. We would acknowledge it as a nearly new toy. Sounds a little bit better.
I like that.
Comes in the back door. Once you've left it with us, we would go through and find out how much repair it needed. If it was a bicycle, did it have all its pedals? Was it structurally sound? Did it just need a buff up and a paint? At that point, that makes our job easier. If it needed more repair, then it would either get repaired here, it would go out of the store itself and be repaired by some of the people that do some repair work at home.
This is volunteer.
Volunteer, yes. We have a father and son team that just took 6 bicycles away and are repairing them this year. If it's a smaller item, like a doll or a game, we make it as close to 100% as possible. It's washed, it's cleaned, all its parts and pieces are there. Then it goes up into the display area. If it's not 100%, we check and see whether we can use it for parts. If we can use it for parts, then we keep it around. If it's something that has no play value left, that can't be used for parts, is basically useless to us, then we have to seriously consider putting it out into a garbage situation.
I see.
And that's very hard for us, because I think the toys that come down in that shape, it's not that somebody wanted to give us something of little value.
No.
It's something the children valued so much that they brought it down to give to somebody else to value it, but it's been loved to death.
Right, cherished toy. You have the display area set up in a very nice way according to ages.
Yes.
And are the donations coming in fast and furiously, or are you lacking in a few areas?
Well, because this is the beginning of November, you'll find that the applications are coming in fast and furious and donations aren't yet, but they will even out. We are getting donations now, and as usual, we have our big black hole, which is the teenage group. People can buy for a child that's 3 years old or 6 years old, and there isn't as much necessity to have something that's current.
Right.
The teens want current things. We use utilitarian gifts for them. We use curling irons for them, sock and mitt and toque sets for them, things that they may not likely get a lot of, and they need for their own personal items.
Right. You mentioned earlier that it's a good idea to give teenagers gift certificates for things like haircuts,
yes.
and because of the snazzy hairstyles that are in now for both young men and women, and gift certificates for bowling.
Mm-hmm.
But you did mention something about ski passes.
Oh, yes. Ski passes are really hard, because some of the areas find that because we have so much snow, a ski pass is a wonderful idea. And if it has everything included, it is. If it's a ski pass and the child has no ski equipment, it's a reminder that he doesn't have quite what everybody else has.
Right.
So what we look at is, before you give, think about the children and what they're likely to have at home.
Right.
It's like us when we pack our food hampers. We have to assume that you have potatoes at home, and we'll give you the turkey.
Yes.
But if you don't have the potatoes, the turkey's a reminder that you don't have the rest of the dinner.
That's true.
So we try and make sure that people think about whether the gift, it's the same as with electronical things. If they don't have the battery, Christmas morning, it's going to be a gift that's in a box but can't work.
Right.
So we make sure that batteries are in there, that everything's ready to go.
You need the whole gift. Now, you also mentioned that you tried to keep the donations of gifts under $10 each.
Yes.
In order to be fair and to help the parents.
To help the parents,
realize.
because that way there is an equality of gifts. You can come in and one person can select a truck, and another person can select a Meccano set, and somebody else can select a book. Now, they may all be different interests, but they all have fairly light costs, and that way we keep it so that we can guarantee a new gift for every child.
Right. That's very good. Alina, I'd like to ask you, since it's such a golden opportunity, a few questions about the Community Services Center.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find, or do you know, if in Nelson the crisis line services increase over the Christmas period?
What we've noticed is apparently right before Christmas can be a busy time in terms of people in crisis, I guess, people without money and kind of depressed time. But during the actual Christmas season itself, it seems to fall, and we don't think it's because the crisis isn't there anymore. I think people just sort of try to pass the Christmas season somehow.
Right.
And then January seems to be a real bad time again. There are lots of calls. So there's, sort of lots of calls in November, quietened down in December, and then in January it just seems to be up again.
So there's a bit of a lull.
Over
during
Christmas.
Uh-huh.
And I really don't think it's an indication that people are not in crisis. It's more that people just sort of hang in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it comes to, just after Christmas, that
They dig down for a bit of fortitude.
that's right.
You rely a lot on volunteers.
We do, particularly with our crisis intervention program. We have a crisis line that operates on a 24-hour basis, and it's the staff look after it from 9 to 5, but from 5 to the next morning, it's handled mostly by volunteers who are trained by the staff. We have a lot of volunteers who've done this for many years, but we're always looking for new volunteers
more.
so they can take a break. And we offer training sessions 3 times a year, sometimes more.
So is your crisis line manned 24 hours a day?
Yes, it is.
It
It
is.
is. The way it operates is that we have an answering service. So if you were in crisis and called the phone, the center phone, you'd get the answering service who will then get a counselor in touch with you, a volunteer in touch with you. So all they need is a phone number and a first name, and somebody will get back to the person in
Very
crisis.
good. Are your volunteers, excuse me, called upon to volunteer for the Christmas Center as well? The Christmas appeal?
Yes, they know about it. Volunteers and staff and board members are encouraged to support, and some come forward.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, supposing I were to volunteer, would I have to tell you a set time I'm available, or could I just drop in and help, or what would happen?
We have Judy Hawley on staff who coordinates volunteers. So, if you're interested, the first thing you do is call her up and make an appointment so you could meet with her, and so she can sort of assess what kinds of things you'd be able to do, and then suggest, crisis line or the contact line, which is our contact with people the elderly who are shut-ins, to make sure that they're doing okay. So there are different things you can do. We also have, I know that you were looking for someone who helped fix bicycles,
Yes.
and
Oh, yes.
we phoned around and in fact came up with somebody, but you'd already found someone. So, there are young people who help with yard work, people who help the elderly with doing their taxes. So we have a list of volunteers who provide different kinds of services.
Very good. And if I were to volunteer to come down here to work, could I just drop in?
At the center.
Yes.
I could, and just do whatever had to be done for the
yes.
period of time I had available.
Some of our volunteers book regular shifts, and that's to accommodate their lives and families. But we're open all the hours of the mall, so therefore, if you've got an hour or a day, we can find something for you to do.
Do you find it disruptive if people bring their young children?
It's like taking a child into a candy store and then saying, no, you can't have the candy. The older children from, say, 7 or 8 up are helped down here because a lot of times they'll tell us where we're wrong. That doesn't go with that. You have to have this type of little man to go with that set. Anybody under 5 or 6 wants to play, and it's very difficult not to allow them to do that. So it's better if they're at home. And sometimes we can get volunteers to share in daycare. One will look after one's child for a day so that the other one can go down and volunteer, and then they'll trade off at the end of the week.
Very good. Well, Captain Ford, do you still use the voucher system for Christmas aid or ongoing assistance throughout the whole year, or is there a different system in place?
The voucher system is under review right now, in that we're in the process of developing a social service center on Baker Street in the basement of the thrift store, which will include a pantry or food bank, as it's more commonly known. And this we're hoping to have operational by the beginning of January. And a lot of volunteer work is going into it, and a lot needs to bring it together. We feel that we can provide a better service and a more nutritional food value to the people, and make your dollars that from the people that come go a little better.
You provide a lot of assistance through the Salvation Army. You mentioned the soup kitchen. Is that ongoing every day?
Yes, soup kitchen is 5 days a week, and we have one of our volunteer ladies comes in, and she prepares the meals or the soup. If there's some that have been donated, she just heats it up. If it's not, she has to make it. Any trimmings, such as sandwiches or cheese or goodies that we could express it, comes in, then she'll give it out. And a lot of our extra help has been offered at our table. However, like when we had the vegetables come in, we couldn't keep them too long, and this is why we need a sort of a walk-in cooler and a food bank and hold that stuff a little longer, and also help those people that need vegetarian diets.
The contact line that our agency runs is also run by volunteers, so the service would not be disrupted as a result of the holidays. We would have the volunteers calling in to the shut-ins and the elderly to see if they're doing okay. What we also do, like as we do now for holiday time and weekends and so on, is that the elderly people are called and they're given the number to the crisis line number.
I see.
So if there is a crisis and it's, you know, it's a Christmas Eve or whatever, they will still have access to a crisis counselor.
Very
and
good.
they will get help. So we don't really shut down on our services during holidays.
So it continues right through
That's
the
right.
entire Christmas Eve, Christmas
right.
Day, and so on.
That's
You
right.
have very dedicated volunteers.
That's right. We couldn't do our work without them.
No. How many volunteers do you have?
We have at the moment about 40 volunteers. We only have 6 staff members, so we really could not do the service we do at the
No.
moment without the help of volunteers.
No. Very good. Well, this is getting rather exciting then, and it's getting closer and closer to the time for the toys to come in and for the food to come in as well. Let me see if I've covered everything here. Let's go over the deadlines again just to make sure. What is the deadline for applying again, Pam?
1st of December.
The 1st of December, and that's for either toys or for the
Yes.
food hampers as well. Just one other question while I'm talking with you. Is the kettle, the Salvation Army kettle, manned by some of your volunteer staff out here?
Oh, yes.
In the mall?
It's staffed as long as we're down at the mall.
I
and then
see.
the uptown one will go out on the 30th of November, and it will be out by the Bank of Commerce.
I see.
And that one's basically staffed by service clubs.
Oh, very good.
So we have a kettle challenge that goes on, and all the clubs challenge each other to see who can raise the most money.
And which
these-
clubs are we talking about here?
Shriners, Kinsmans, Lions, Kiwanis, Rotarians, they all get together, and this keeps it interesting for them.
I see. So they'll take it for a certain period of time?
Yes.
One club will? What period, roughly?
They would probably take it for an evening or an all-day period, at which point we record what's come in at that time. Then the next time another club comes in, they'll take it for the same length of time, and we'll record that money.
Very good.
So that's the way that they keep it interesting.
That's good. A challenge is always great. And you're looking for toys of all kinds, new and used, especially some new gifts for teenagers. I'll just
Yes.
go over a few that have come to mind. One are, and trying to keep the cost $10 and under, are solar calculators are
Yes.
under $10, digital watches,
Yes,
toupee scarf and mitt sets you mentioned.
close to that price.
Right, and brush and comb sets. Pretty well anything along those lines.
Anything that you'd buy for your own teen.
Right.
Our teens aren't that much different.
No, definitely not.
We do a toy canvas in the area, and that's going to be on Saturday, the 21st of November. Our people that go out and volunteer for us will be coming around to the homes, going door to door, and asking for new or nearly new toys. At that point, they will have identification with them that identifies them as community Christmas program volunteers. So please make sure that the things that you give to them are given to somebody that's identified as being connected with us. And at this time, we still need drivers and runners. So if you're interested in helping out, you could maybe give us a call at 352-9966.
Very good. Is that a number right down here at the mall?
Yes.
Very good. Now, Captain Ford, you wanted to add something about the dinner on the 23rd.
Yes, the dinner is at 4 o'clock on the 23rd, and that's when we'll start serving.
At 4 o'clock in the
At 4
afternoon.
o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay. And what is the deadline again for signing for this dinner?
I would say 1st of December.
1st of
thing.
December.
Yes, I think it'd be
And-
good to do that.
Okay, and people may apply down at the Salvation Army Hall.
That is correct.
Are there specific hours they would have to
They should
go
come
to the
in.
hall?
Yes, they should come in the soup time hour, which is 10:45 till noon.
4 to 11 till noon? Okay, good. Lena, do you have anything further you want to add that I may have missed about community services
Yeah.
or about the winter appeal?
I guess what I'd like to do is just tell you briefly what the Community Services Center does in terms of the program, so if people out there, want our
All right.
services, they know what's available. We have what we call the Counseling and Community Education Program. That program provides counseling. It could be family counseling, counseling of children, counseling of couples. We also provide parent education training, so if you came through that program, you'd find out about when the training programs are and participate in that. We have another program we call a live-in program. This is a program that we work with the Ministry of Social Services and Housing, and that's dealing with children between the age of 16 and 19 who are sort of not quite independent, but we want to provide them with the skills. So they go into a home, and we don't call the homes foster homes. We call them resource homes, so that the parents in that home provide support, but basically help the youngsters to get independent. So when they are 19 and out there on their own, they know how to
boil water.
Yeah, you know, how to spend the limited resources that they have. And then the third program that we've been talking about, we call it Crisis Intervention Program, and that's dealing with people in crisis. And again, that's a 24-hour service. So we're happy to provide the service. We're always looking for volunteers and also looking for donations. So any support from the community will be appreciated.
Very good. Captain, would you like to add anything, or have we covered pretty well everything that you were wanting to say?
Well, just we're looking forward to serving the people, beginning the new year and our new method of social service center and the food bank, and hopefully we can improve our services. Do face a problem in regards to staffing and the monies to go with that. I'm working on that, but I can't guarantee anything. So it'll boil down probably to my wife and I if it need be. From that, we're hoping that we can be open to the doors a little longer, where people can bring donated goods a little bit longer rather than the couple hours they have for the soup line hours.
Right.
Because we can't always be in that office upstairs.
No.
As we reach out to the people, those that don't have a minister may feel free to contact me. If I can be of some assistance, I'll do what I can. We never know. Try to meet the needs of the people.
Very good. And Pam, how about you? Do you have anything you want to add?
Well, I think we've covered it all pretty well.
I just want to congratulate all of you personally, and also the organizations to which you belong, because it's a real community effort to see three organizations just mesh like that and get together and do what has to be done. And also gives you an opportunity to explain to the people out there exactly what you do as well in the rest of the year, as well as during the Christmas season. It's really good. I'd like to just mention one more time, if I might, before we leave, that people will be coming around to your door in the Nelson area on the 21st of November, and you may ask those people for identification, and they should say that they're from the Christmas Winter Appeal Program, Salvation Army, Community Services, all connected there. And do, in the meantime, look through your used toys or nearly new toys. I'm not supposed to say used, right? Think positively. Your nearly new toys and anything else that you might want to donate to this wonderful program that certainly is helping those in need in Nelson and in other areas as well. Again, I'd like to thank Captain Ford and Lena Horswell and Pam Olson for giving us their time tonight, as well as the rest of the time that they're putting into this important program. And I'd like to thank all of you for joining us, and we know that you will help out when you see the need, as you always do every year. Thank you, and good night.